I need to tell you something. Not because I want to, but because if I don't, and it happens to you, I'll never forgive myself. This is a true story. It happened to me last summer, in the kind of town where nothing like this is supposed to happen. My name is Louis. I'm 22 years old. I've lived in the same small town in Kansas for almost 14 years. The kind of town where people leave their back doors unlocked, where kids ride bikes until dark without anyone watching, where the gas station attendant knows your name before you open your mouth. Crime here? Sure. A drunk fight on a Friday night, a fender bender someone tries to sneak away from. That's it. That's the worst of it. I believed in this town completely. The way you believe in something that has never given you a reason not to. Until last summer. Last summer rewrote everything I thought I understood about safety, about the people around me, and about how fast a completely ordinary Tuesday night can become the worst night of your life. My best friend is a guy named Colton, loyal to the bone, the kind of person who shows up when you need him, no questions asked. Every evening at 7, we met at the gym. Same routine, same squat rack, every single day. For about 4 months, Colton had been dating a girl named Addie, 17 years old, a cheerleader, popular, pretty in that effortless way some girls are. But from the very first time I saw them together, something felt wrong. She needed his attention the way most people need air. If he went too long without texting her back, the messages would start. One evening at the gym, Colton picked up his phone and just stared at it. He turned the screen toward me without saying a word. 47 messages in 40 minutes. Some were questions, some were accusations, some were just his name over and over. Colton. Colton? Colton. Like she was trying to pull him through the screen. And then Colton found out she had been cheating on him. Not once, not with one person, multiple times, over months. He broke up with her the next day. That was when Addie became someone else entirely. The breakup shattered her, but instead of grieving, she started building a case. She told people at school that I, Colton's gym partner, had poisoned him against her, that I had engineered the breakup, that I deserved consequences. Most people dismissed it. A teenage girl in pain, looking for someone to blame. Nobody said anything. Nobody warned me. And so it kept growing inside her. Quiet, patient, getting heavier by the day. It was a Tuesday night in late July. The heat that week was brutal. Mid-90s, thick, suffocating. Colton and I hit the gym at 7. Push day. Normal session. Everything was exactly like it always was. Then the front door opened. A girl walked in, red hoodie, hood pulled up, blue leggings. The hoodie hit me wrong immediately. Not like something felt, like a fact was wrong. It was 85 degrees outside. Nobody wears a hoodie in that heat, unless they have a reason to hide their face. She stood in the doorway, and she stared directly at us. Not the way someone looks around a new place. This was direct, deliberate, like a compass needle pointing north, pulled, not aimed. A few seconds, then she turned and walked toward the women's locker room. But as she walked, she kept looking back over her shoulder. Slow, full turns, making sure we hadn't moved. I stood there with the bar in my hands, trying to figure out what I was feeling. Off. Something felt off. I put my headphones back in and tried to forget it. Then we heard it. Through the walls, through our earbuds. Crying. But not quiet, private crying. This was loud, jagged, punctuated by muttering between the sobs. The rhythm of it was wrong, like something working itself up, like fuel being loaded. The woman on the treadmill pulled her earbud out and looked toward the locker room door. Even Terry behind the front desk looked up. 10 minutes later, she came back out. Same red hoodie, same blue leggings. She hadn't changed. She hadn't worked out. Whatever happened in that locker room, it wasn't preparation for exercise. She started moving around the gym floor, pretending to look at equipment. But she wasn't looking at the equipment. She was looking at us. Every spot she drifted to gave her a clear line of sight. I moved across the gym. A few minutes later, she was nearby again. I leaned toward Colton and said quietly, "I'm getting uncomfortable." He looked up, scanned the room. His eyes landed on her. "Yeah," he said. "Me too." We packed up faster than usual and walked out. When I looked back, she was gone. No sign of her anywhere. No sound of the door. She had just vanished. We stood by Colton's truck outside, like we always did, just talking, winding down. Then I noticed the car, parked at the far edge of the lot, away from the other vehicles, in the dark part where the light didn't reach. Engine running, headlights on, just sitting there, idling. I ran through the inventory of whose cars I recognized. That car wasn't any of theirs. I almost said something to Colton, then didn't. I didn't want to seem paranoid. We said goodnight, drove home. I was home for about 10 minutes. Shower, food, couch, lights off. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Colton. "Hey, you remember that girl at the gym tonight?" I sat up. What if it was Addie? I read it once, then again. I set the phone down. My mind went back through the evening. The red hoodie pulled up to hide a face. The crying in the locker room, working itself up to something. The way she drifted without ever actually working out. The car in the dark. My stomach did something slow and unpleasant. I told Colton. It was probably just some random girl having a bad night. That Addie was upset, but she wasn't following us. We were connecting dots that weren't there. He said I was probably right. I said I was definitely right. I turned off the lamp, closed my eyes. My last thought before sleep. The car in the parking lot was probably nothing. I was wrong. The knocking. I don't know exactly when I fell asleep. I know when I woke up. 11:34 p.m. What woke me was not my phone, not a car outside. It was knocking. Not at the front door, at my brother's bedroom window. 3 knocks, sharp, deliberate, evenly spaced, not accidental, not tentative. Someone had decided to knock. I got up without turning on any lights. I moved into the hallway slowly, staying close to the wall. I looked out toward the side yard. Nothing. The motion light hadn't triggered. The bushes were still. I almost convinced myself it was a branch. Then the knocking moved to my window, my bedroom window. 3 knocks, same rhythm, same firmness. My body reacted before my mind caught up. I stood beside the window, not in front of it, and tilted the blinds just enough to see through the gap. The front yard was empty. The porch light burned its small yellow circle. Nothing beyond it but dark and silence. I told myself it was nothing. I let go of the blinds, took a step back, and then the front door erupted. Both fists, full force, the frame shaking, the sound cracking through the silent house like something had broken open. Not knocking, pounding. The kind that says, "I am not asking to be let in. I am telling you I am here." I heard my dad wake up down the hall. I heard movement, but I couldn't move. Then the doorknob started turning. Back and forth, back and forth, over and over, straining against the deadbolt, testing different angles, different pressure, not giving up. Someone was standing on the other side of that door, and they were trying to get in. Then I heard her laugh. It started suddenly, a sharp burst, and then it kept going, high, breathless, rising and falling in waves. This wasn't playful laughter. It wasn't nervous laughter. This was the sound of someone who had let go of whatever tether keeps us recognizable to each other. It would stop, abruptly, mid-sound, then start again, like she was replaying something in her mind that kept being funny to her. That laughter came through the walls and settled in my chest like something cold. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened the message. "Tell Colton to stop ignoring me. You convinced him to leave me. Now you're going to deal with the consequences." That phrase, that grievance, that belonged to one person. The girl in the red hoodie at the gym, the car in the parking lot, and now, here, in the dark, outside my house, in the middle of the night. She had followed me home from the gym. She had waited. She had come back. The second message arrived before I could process the first. It was a photo. I looked at it for 2 seconds. 2 seconds was enough. It was a close-up of a hand, her hand, holding a knife. Blade visible, angled toward the camera. Unmistakable. I have this. I am here. I want you to know both of those things. My dad was in the hallway beside me. I held up the phone. He read both messages. He didn't ask questions. He didn't try to reason it out. He picked up his phone and called 911. The police found her in the front yard. Not running, not hiding, sitting cross-legged in the grass near the porch steps, like she had simply run out of whatever was driving her. and stopped where she was, calm, emptied out. She admitted everything: the gym, following me home, coming back after 11, the messages, the knife. The knife was in her hoodie pocket. I pressed charges without hesitation. I still live in the same town. I still go to the gym with Colton. My life is mostly what it was before. But something shifted that night that has not fully shifted back. I pay attention differently now. I notice when someone is watching too long. I notice a car parked on my street that doesn't belong. I notice that feeling in my stomach when something seems off. And I don't talk myself out of it anymore. If you are ever in a place where something feels wrong, don't negotiate with that feeling. Don't search for the rational explanation. Don't decide to wait and see. Your gut is not irrational. It is processing information faster than your mind can speak. Listen to it. Tell someone. Call the police. Leave. Do something. Anything. Before the ordinary Tuesday night becomes the worst night of your life. I am grateful my dad was awake. I am grateful he called without hesitating. I am grateful that the worst thing that happened to me that night was fear. Because it could have been so much more than fear.